Equal pay. I don't know if you saw this story, but I guess there was a WNBA All-Star game on Saturday night, and all the women who were playing in the warm-up wore these T-shirts, and the T-shirts said, "Pay us what you owe us." And this is a reference to the fact that they make a lot less money than the men do playing in the NBA. And, this goes against, of course, the egalitarian drive to pay everybody the same. But there is a really, really good reason why women basketball players get paid less than the men. They're not as good. And fewer people watch them. And fewer people are willing to pay money to watch them. And fewer television networks are willing to pay money to broadcast their games because fewer people will watch them. And, you might be a huge fan of WNBA, and I think that's great. But the reality is there are not a lot of you, or there are fewer of you than there are of the NBA. NBA, by the way, is a global phenomenon. And I don't think they suck. I think they play amazing basketball. They would, destroy any one of you listening. I don't think I have a single person who listens to the Yaron Brook Show who could beat any one of these women. But it's just, they're just not quite as good as the men, and they're not as athletic, and and therefore it's less interesting. I guess, right? And generally, women in professional sports, soccer, for example, are constantly talking about equal pay. They work just as hard. It's the labor theory of value. You should get paid based on how much you work. But that's ridiculous. You get paid based on how much value you provide, which is not based on how hard you work. It's based on how much value you provide to whom? To the customer. And in this case, they provide only so much value. Indeed, the WNBA loses quite a bit of money. And because the NBA owns 60%, I think it's 60% of the WNBA, the NBA, out of its profits, actually subsidizes the WNBA. Now, I have no problem with that. It's all private money, and it probably, from a marketing perspective, it all makes sense. But, I mean, with all due respect to these women, they're getting paid to play basketball. It's pretty cool to begin with. And, I don't know what their wages are, but I'm sure they're reasonable. Yes, they don't make as much as LeBron James or Jason Tatum, who I think was the highest paid until, was the highest paid in basketball. Yeah, they're not as good, not as entertaining, not as athletic, and they don't bring enough viewers, so they don't make as much money. And the reality is that, it's a marketplace. And they can't make more money than the fans are willing to pay to see them. Minus all the expenses associated with running the WNBA, of course. So, and it's not that I think these players are egalitarians or nasty or, crazy women lib types. No, I just think they're ignorant of the basic principles of economics, and they really do think that they should get paid somehow based on effort. Now, viewership of WNBA is rising, particularly because of Caitlin Clark, who is a phenomenal player that a lot of people like to watch. And it could get more popular because of her. Just like, the NBA was so-so. It was sinking. It was not making a lot of money and really not that exciting and going nowhere to a large extent before the era of Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. And maybe Caitlin Clark is going to be the one who spurs the WNBA into a golden age. I hope so. I mean, be great. Have another major, amazing sport. But you know, simple basic economic principles, simple basic moral principles. You can't get paid for what you don't own. So you can't get paid for what you don't produce, what you don't earn. You got to earn it, and you haven't earned it. How do we know you haven't earned it? Fans are not watching you, and the league is losing money. Basic principles in ethics and economics. No conflict there.